This is a myth that after making the minimum amount due, you will not get any charges. No, that's absolutely wrong. But they should be making the payment in full.
That's how she got really frustrated, and then finally she ended up closing all her credit card accounts.
How bank make money on the credit card services or offers, not many are aware of.
Hello everyone, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you for joining me on this journey that began 5 years ago. Today I want to warmly welcome you to a new beginning and a fresh season, the Domain Podium, where knowledge and inspiration meet innovation. I'm your host Ramesh Chugh, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you today. So let's dive in together and uncover the wonders that await us. Before we proceed on the inauguration of the Domain Podium Season 1, let me introduce you to our very special guest for today, the one and only one, Himanshu Mishra. With more than 15 years of experience managing projects in the cards and payment domain and holding professional certifications like PMP and Prince 2 practitioner, Himanshu now leads a diverse team of project managers operating globally. He is a director of the project management office at Paymentology and brings a wealth of technical and functional expertise that will surely enlighten and inspire us today. So let me invite him on the stage with us. Himanshu, welcome and thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Ramesh. It's a pleasure to be here. And you would remember this, like when you started your YouTube channel, I was your early followers. And right now I'm sharing this stage with you. I'm really feeling very honored, and I hope that I will be able to contribute the required insight to your viewers. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine, Himanshu. I have been really blessed to get your support throughout this journey on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for this. And before we move on, let me set the context for our audience. In the modern landscape, we have numerous ways to make payment when we shop. For example, whether it is at the grocery shop or gas station, online or anywhere else. Some of us may prefer to use cards like credit card or debit cards, digital wallets, or even options like bank transfer, QR code, cryptocurrency, right? So there are plenty of options available for us to make a payment. But there is an old friend of ours that still hangs around, which is cash. And interestingly, quite a large number of people still prefer to use cash today, and they aren't too keen on using credit cards. And that's what the topic we have, and we are going to dive into it today. Beyond the plastic, exploring the fear of using credit cards. I just want to, understand, I want to shed some light on this, why some people hesitate to embrace the power of credit cards, and most importantly, how we can crush those fears. So without wasting a second, let's unleash the excitement and dive right into the heart of the matter. So Himanshu, let's begin with a fundamental question. Do you think individuals from various professions such as teachers, photographers, artists, and freelancers, those who are not familiar with banking and fintech sectors, whether they truly understand the concept of credit card or a billing cycle and the due date? So what do you think about it? Why some individuals may not use credit cards as wisely as they could? What do you think about it, Himanshu? Because my general perspective is there is a great education needed to this segment of the population. Those who are not able to use credit card wisely, and the reason for this one is pretty much clear to us because they are not familiar with this domain. Not everyone understands what a credit card is. Yeah, right. You're getting a loan from the credit card. What is the minimum due amount? And all those things, all those fancy terminologies. I don't think so that every individual or the segment that I just now spoke about, they are familiar with this one, right?
Absolutely, Ramesh. The question that you have asked has so many underlying fundamental buzzwords that generally people do not understand. And specifically the people that you talked about, like teachers, photographers, artists, they do not belong to the cards and payment industry. So they don't even know about these buzzwords. So let's take this opportunity to unfold the myths around usage of credit card and understand these buzzwords together. Let's start with the billing cycle or a statement date. What exactly these two buzzwords? The statement date is basically nothing but a period of 2 statement dates in which all your transactions that are posted is captured along with any late payment fees, along with any charges or taxes or credit shield, then a statement is generated on the statement generation date. It depends upon issuer to issuer, but usually this period expand between 27 to 31 days, in which all the transactions that are posted is captured on your account. And then another buzzword was due date. Now let me try to explain due date together with the statement and billing cycle date so that it is more relatable. So let's say today is 6th of August and you got your first credit card. Congratulations. So this credit card is issued by an issuing bank after all the credit checks or credit scoring and the DBR, and you got a credit limit assigned as 20,000 dirham. Now standing today, you have a period of 27 to 31 days depending upon issuing bank to issuing bank, and you have this period to make spend or purchases. The statement due date would be, or the statement generation date would be from now 6th of August to 5th of September, just to be specific. So until 5th of September, whatever purchases or spend you have made, the billing generation date of 5th of September will accumulate all the posted transactions along with any taxes or charges if applicable, and a bill statement credit card bill will be generated. Now you get a due date, which is nothing, a grace period of 15 to 20 days depending upon issuing bank to issuing bank, and within that duration you have to repay the total outstanding amount. So let's say you had a limit of 20,000 dirham, and between 6th of August to 5th of September you made a spend around 10,000 dirhams. Now that 10,000 dirham is the total liability to the issuer, which they expect you as a cardholder to repay within the stipulated time. Now understanding the due date, so by 25th of September you need to repay that 10,000 dirham to your issuing bank so that you can avoid any sort of charges or late payment fee or any taxes on it. So Ramesh, just to summarize, for the benefit of the segment that you talked about, the statement or billing date and due date, if you understand the concept clearly, you can eventually unlock the potential of usage of credit card. It is a very powerful payment method, and you can take the advantage if you use it wisely and responsibly.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. That was really insightful. And I truly wanted to share something with you because something that I experienced by myself around 13 to 14 years ago, before I joined this industry of card and payment. I remember one of my cousin brother in NCR, in Delhi NCR, he was trying to explain me these concepts of credit card limits, the minimum amount due, and the billing cycle, etc. And at that point in time, these terms were so fancy and so unrelatable for me because I couldn't really understand. I didn't know this industry at all. But after that, there was a time when I think down the line, around 6 months to 1 year after that discussion, I remember when I joined this industry. So from that point in time is when I could correlate all these terminology very clearly, and I could understand that. And I really hope that, with the help of today's session, we empower that segment of the population through this platform. Another common misunderstanding revolves around one of the concept is minimum amount due. Some people mistakenly believe that settling the MAD on or before the due date exempts them from the interest charges. But that's not the reality. We know that, right, Himanshu? So could you shed some light on this misconception and provide some clarity to our audience?
Certainly, Ramesh. The minimum amount due is nothing but a Pandora box for a lot of common people who do not understand how this minimum amount due principle works. So let me try to explain that in a simple example, or maybe we can relate it to the example that we talked about in previous question related to the statement date and the due date. So let's say you had a spend of 10,000 that you had to pay until 25th of September. There will be a minimum amount due that your issuer will suggest you to pay. And that is on some parameter that issuers apply, which could be the fixed amount, let's say 500 dirhams, or it could be a percentage like 2% or 5% of total outstanding amount. So that could be one of the parameters, and whichever is higher, of course the issuer will set that accordingly. So let's say you had a spend of 10,000 and the due date or the payment date is 25th of September, and by then you need to pay minimum amount due to avoid any late payment charges is, let's say, 500 dirhams, which is a flat, which is a higher one, or maybe we can take 2%, which is 200, or 5% as 500. So let's take an example of 500 dirhams only. So what your issuer suggests is, if you pay 500 dirhams by 25th of September, you are exempted on late payment charges. You paid the bill before like 25th of September, the late payment charges will be not applied to your statement account. This is a myth that after making the minimum amount due, you will not get any charges. No, that's absolutely wrong. So even if you make a minimum payment of, let's say, 500 dirhams, the outstanding amount will still reflect on your statement, which is 9,500 dirhams. The interest will be applicable of that outstanding amount by your issuing bank. So in order to maintain the credit score, I strongly recommend to every cardholder that they must make the payment as per the due date, and even before that is also fine, but they should be making the payment in full. They should not be paying unless there are certain scenario or situation where you cannot pay the amount fully, but still I strongly suggest that you pay out your due on time.
That's an important distinction to be aware of, Himanshu, and thank you for clarifying that. And before we move on, I wanted to share an interesting conversation that I recently had with one of my friends who owns her own business in UAE. And surprisingly, when I was discussing with her, I got to know that she doesn't use any credit card today. And the reason behind it is quite amusing, Himanshu. A couple of years ago, she obtained a credit card from a bank. Mistakenly, she believed that paying minimum amount due would exempt her from the interest charges. And she continued this practice for the next 2 to 3 months. And unfortunately, after 2 or 3 months, she got a call from the bank representative about the scenarios. And then finally, she realized that she has been continuously using the card, assuming something which is not true. And that's how she got really frustrated. And then finally, she ended up closing all her credit card accounts. So I agree with you and with your thoughts, Himanshu. This actually highlights the need for a better financial education for this segment of the people. Now let's talk about one of the fancy things that often catches people's attention is rewards. I myself, sometime along with my friends, be it at a restaurant or some other merchant, we often try to find some offers for ourselves or cashback or rewards so that we can try to save some money, correct? So what do you think, Himanshu, do all these users, the segment that we just now spoke about, do they truly understand how these rewards work? I would really, love to gain insights from you and hear some valuable tips on how our audience, how this segment can make the most of these exciting offers and rewards.
Rewards. So let's try to understand what exactly rewards is. So reward is nothing but an incentive program that offers by your card issuer and that encourages you to spend more. And as I said before, using a credit card, you have to use it wisely and responsibly. And there is a saying that goes around like any excessive use is an abuse. So use the credit card wisely. Now, when it comes to reward, let's try to explore what all kind of rewards we have. Rewards could be in terms of cashback, in terms of miles, in terms of the discounts that can be offered directly onto your statement. So these are like kind of rewards that usually you get as part of the card services. Now, when we're talking about the specific segment of people, I strongly recommend that those people should select the card. So an example that you gave about your friend who had her business, maybe she have selected a wrong card probably, because there are certain lifestyle based card which eventually can get you a benefit. So the rewards is a specific feature that I really liked about is that it can rip you a lot of benefits from the credit card. So the segment of people that we talked about, right? So let's take an example. A teacher. If a credit card is offered to a teacher which has a reward feature for miles, so whatever spend she gonna make, or he gonna make, it will attract the miles point. And teachers, you know that, right? They don't often travel, so that miles feature is eventually not beneficial for them. So that's not a best suited card for them. So for such people, I strongly recommend that look for the benefits of the rewards that get associated to a credit card and how can benefit them on their day-to-day usage. So let's talk about the photographers or the freelancers who have to travel a lot. Giving them the points which they can redeem it at petrol station will not help them, right? Because they have to travel a lot. So getting a card which offers them as a reward as miles or for their day-to-day spend will benefit them, right? Because they have to travel, so they can use those miles point in terms of redemption, which can give them an economy ticket and they can get to an upgrade to a business class ticket using those points redemptions. So Ramesh, let's try to understand how rewards work, right? So we talked about the types of reward and what could be the best card that suits your lifestyle, right? But in background, how rewards work. So the issuer who runs this incentive program has always various tie-ups with the merchants or the promoters on where they offer a lot of cashback features, right? So let's say Sharaf DG, Carrefour, or any other grocery stores or a supermarket or any other merchant for that matter, the issuers have their own collaborations with them. And what they do is basically on each and every single spend that you make on those merchants, we call it MCC also, they offer a percentage of cashback rewards on the authorizations. So let's say you make a spend of like 1,000 dirhams on a specific MCC. On that 1,000 dirham, you will attract around 1% or 2% of cashback that eventually get accumulated and it's reflected on your statement of account, credit card statement of account, which you can then go ahead and either redeem it to get adjusted into your statement payment, or you can get that redemption at their tied up merchant.
Great advice, Himanshu. Maximizing rewards can lead to significant savings, and thanks for your insightful explanation. Moving forward, beside these usual rewards and cashback, are there any lesser known perks that often escape the attention of most people? Could you help us understand if there are any hidden advantages of credit cards that an average person might not be familiar with?
That's a very interesting question, Ramesh. The hidden features of credit card. Generally speaking, there are so many hidden features that your credit card offers which one is not aware of. But let me remind you that these feature comes to a cost. It's not for free, generally. So depending upon your spending ability or to a spend criteria, there are tons of hidden features that credit card offers, like the concierge services, yearly pickup and drop to the airport, valet services, the balance transfer, the cash on card, the exclusive invitation to the events, to the golf, and there are so many big day sales that comes and give an early access to the early bird discounts to your cardholders. So these are like hidden features that one should be making use of. But as I said, it comes to a spending limit or spending criteria that you need to meet in order to get these hidden features.
I agree with you, Himanshu. These lesser known benefits can be a real game changer for the users. And it's an honor to have this discussion with you, spreading this knowledge so that people can make their choices wisely and can start utilizing these kind of hidden benefits from the credit cards. Finally, moving towards the end of the conversations, I just wanted to bring one of the business related aspect up, which I'm sure, Himanshu, many of our curious viewers wonder and would also want to know how banks make money from credit cards. Would you be able to explain this to our audience, Himanshu?
Again, very interesting question, Ramesh, because how bank make money on the credit card services or offers, not many are aware of. So usually the issuing banks, they earn money from people like us who default on the payment. They earn from the late payment fees. And if we make a payment on minimum amount due but do not pay the outstanding balances, then they have to pay the interest charges. So that's where bank makes more money, because the interest charges are always higher than the overall late payment fees. There is another segment where issuer makes money. It's called interchange fee, we as cardholder do not see that happening operationally like in front of us. But usually the way it works is that whenever a card scheme is involved, like Visa, MasterCard, Cub, JCB, Amex, these are the card schemes or card brands which like the issuing scheme signs an agreement, bin licensing agreement with these card scheme. At that point of time, they agree the interchange fee that they're gonna earn on each and every transactions. So issuers, generally speaking, they make money out of all these late payment fees or interest and other charges. They eventually make money on each and every single transaction that happens on their platform. So Ramesh, just to summarize, there are segments where issuing banks make money, like as I talked about the late payment fee, the interest, and then the interchange fees. So you might ask, like where exactly or at what component issuing bank earns the most money? Eventually speaking, the issuing bank earns the max money when we as a cardholder defaults on the payment. So the moment we default on any payment, there are late payment fee, then there are taxes on that late payment fee, the other service charges, etc. That's where exactly where the issuing bank makes the most money.
Thanks for explaining that aspect, Himanshu. It's really interesting to discover some of the complexities of how credit card systems operate behind the scenes. I hope our discussion inspires our listeners and encourages them to be smart user of a credit card. I also hope that they must have gained a better understanding of credit card usage and the financial world around it. So once again, Himanshu, a big thank you for being here and sharing your valuable insights today. It was truly an honor to have you with us on the season 1 of the Domain Podium. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ramesh. To be honest, I'm very honored to be part of your first Domain Podium podcast, and I hope that I was able to contribute as a guest today. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of the Domain Podium. Keep an eye for more exciting discussions on knowledge, inspiration, and innovation. Let's work towards building a financially empowered community. Together we can make a positive impact. Until next time, keep learning and growing. See you all soon. Stay safe and take care.